Hypoxia, definition and types. The question is hypoxia, definition and types. Now, in this slide, I have given all these things. What is hypoxia? Hypoxia is decreased oxygen deficiency at the tissue level. If I want to define the hypoxia, oxygen deficiency at the cellular level or tissue level. The oxygen deficiency results from the deficiency of the oxygen in the ventilation or deficiency of the oxygen carried by the blood or deficiency of the transporter hemoglobin or because of the slow movement of the blood, that is stagnation, or it is not able to be utilized. So I again repeat, so it is the deficiency of oxygen at tissue level resulting from the deficiency in the atmosphere, that is ventilation, or deficiency because of the perfusion, or deficiency because of the low hemoglobin, or deficiency because of the slow motion of the blood, or deficiency because of the non-utilization of the oxygen. Then what are the types of hypoxia? All these things are answered here. So there are four categories of hypoxia: hypoxic hypoxia, anemic hypoxia, stagnant or ischemic hypoxia, and histotoxic hypoxia. Now, briefly, we try to cover up these things because it's a very ultra short question. So hypoxic hypoxia, in which the partial pressure of oxygen in the arterial blood is reduced. Partial pressure of the oxygen in the arterial blood is reduced. As, for example, in high altitude, if you go up at the altitudes, Himalaya, so that means oxygen is partial pressure is less because the atmospheric pressure is less. Or what happens in case of pneumonia, because the oxygen may be there but it is not allowing it to reach, perfusion problem or transfer problem. Emphysema, it is not you are not able to take, or any other conditions that interfere with the ventilation and perfusion. So all those conditions that may. So what is happening nowadays, the COVID-19? So this is what it does. It produces no ventilation. When there is no ventilation, the person is suffering, and then finally he dies of the lack of oxygen. So in this hypoxic hypoxia, you will see cyanosis, the bluish discoloration of the skin and mucous membrane. And this cyanosis is a central cyanosis. What is called a central cyanosis? Because there is the condition is the hemoglobin level should be normal. So in the hypoxic hypoxia, hemoglobin condition is normal, cyanosis is seen. Then second comes the anemic hypoxia. The anemic hypoxia, here the partial pressure of oxygen is normal, PO2 is normal, but the amount of hemoglobin required to carry the oxygen is reduced, or the amount of functional hemoglobin necessary to carry the oxygen is reduced. Why I brought in functional? Because the anemia, any type of anemia that may produce because where hemoglobin levels are decreased, or in case of a carbon monoxide poisoning. In the carbon monoxide poisoning, what is happening? Functional hemoglobin may be there, but it is now the carbon monoxide is sitting with the hemoglobin and not allowing the oxygen to be associated. So that means it is a functional hemoglobin that's important. The carbon monoxide poisoning produces anemic hypoxia, and in this condition, no cyanosis is seen, because in the anemia, the amount of hemoglobin is less, and when the amount of hemoglobin is less, and to produce cyanosis, you require a minimum of 5 grams of deoxygenated hemoglobin. So that means to see the bluish discoloration, you should have a minimum of 5 gram of the deoxygenated hemoglobin. So if it is not there, if the hemoglobin is less, so this you may not get. That's why you may not see the cyanosis here. Then stagnant or ischemic hypoxia, in which the blood flow to the tissue is slow. Say, for example, in case of a cardiac failure, or in case where you are exposed to a cold environment, the blood circulation decreases. And what happens? You will see that cyanosis of the nail bed or the lips or the earlobes at time. So now this is because of the decreased blood flow, and there is a stagnation. And here in this, PO2 is normal, hemoglobin is normal, only delivery of oxygen is not taking place as expected, and that is why there is this thing. And there will be I gave you the example here, the diminished circulation that as happens in the cardiac failure, or in case of a physiological condition, exposure to cold. And in this condition, there is a cyanosis, and this cyanosis is a peripheral cyanosis. So spelling mistake is there. It is a peripheral cyanosis. Maybe I will just correct it. It is a okay. There is a peripheral cyanosis in this condition. Okay, so then fourth type of hypoxia is histotoxic hypoxia. This is seen with cyanide poisoning or any other metabolic poisons, in which the oxygen delivered to the tissue is normal, the PO2 is normal, the circulation is normal, everything is wonderful because of this toxic agent. This toxic agent, which do not allow the mitochondria to perform, the metabolic inhibitors. These are metabolic inhibitors. Now the cells cannot generate new ATP, and there is a failure of the mitochondria. So that is the histotoxic hypoxia. So here there is a question of cyanosis does not. I have just does not take place. Now I have explained. I just repeat. It's a deficiency of oxygen. This deficiency of oxygen can result from hypoxia, hypoxic hypoxia, or because of the decreased hemoglobin level, or because of the slow blood flow, or because of the metabolic toxin or toxicity that does not, cells cannot utilize the oxygen. I think that will be quite enough for your answer for this particular question. Okay, thank you.